I'm afraid the title itself gives a pronouncement. Actually, it's very obviously which says Bollywood is Indian cinema. We all agree, but we prove in one sentence it can be answered. But the problem is the rest of the world, particularly outside India, they think Bollywood is Indian cinema. They don't realize that even in Bombay, all the films that are being made in Hindi language, they are not Bollywood. Bollywood is one particular kind of cinema being made in Bombay. Beyond that, I don't think it has any place. In fact, for a very long time, ever since the journalists started describing Bombay cinema as Bollywood, I used to have my strong objection to it, because that meant that the cinema in Bombay will be condemned to be, a shadow of Hollywood, and then people started, terming cinema from Calcutta Kollywood, then Malayalam cinema Mollywood, like that. It was terrible, and nobody is ashamed, to use these terms, as if we have no individuality. Even when we make commercial films, why should you call it, Bollywood? And it sounds very bad, sounds very vulgar. And then, unfortunately, these people who produce these films, they think it's something creditable, because it's a kind of brand name, which gains a sudden immediate appeal. Maybe that is true, but then what kind of brand name? So only recently I was coming out of a screening of my film in a festival outside the country, and as soon as when I was coming out, a couple of people approached me and said, so they make films like this also in Bollywood? I said, no, this is far from it. This is not part of Bollywood. And I explained in very brief couple of sentences, I explained what Bollywood is. But it has become a term. When I go to a couple of years back, I was going to USA, and when I landed in New York, the customs people, not the customs, the immigration people, the officer there asked me, so you make films? Yes, I said, yes. Bollywood? I said, no, far from it. So you like, next question, you like Slumdog Millionaire? I said, I hate it. Why? He is asking, very innocently he is asking. I said, this is the most anti-Indian film ever produced. Ever produced. Oh, I see. And I had the opportunity to talk the same thing at different other fora while I was there. That was immediately after this was released. And all over USA, all over, that's a kind of Bollywood film they made. That was very typical Bollywood film made in Hollywood. That was the best example of a Bollywood film. Because I personally believe even the so-called Bollywood film made in Bombay are better, and they are more Indian than that film. But then all of India was celebrating the Oscar award because Indian technicians and artists got the prize. I also wouldn't mind celebrating that part. But then for what? For this kind of a film, which is such a shame on us. Which is such a shame. So you are part of Bombay cinema. You have acted even in my film, in a Malayalam film. So you are saying that you have acted in Hindi, Bengali, Malayalam, Marathi, and Konkani, 5 languages. Quite an achievement. What do you have to say about the Bollywood?
I think my a Twitter status says it all. In my Twitter status, I written, I am an proud Indian actor. I am not a Marathi actor, I am not a Hindi actor, I am not any other language actor. I am proud Indian actor because India is considered or it is fulfilled with so many languages which create India or which made India what India has. So in recent years, I worked in Konkani film, I worked in Bengali film, I worked in Hindi film, I worked in Marathi film, and I worked in Malayalam film with you last year. So for me as an actor, for me as a person who represents kind of a Marathi cinema or a cinema fraternity, rightly said by Adur sir, Bollywood, what I say is the showcase material which Indian cinema has showcased. Like when we go to malls or some shopping malls or something like that, there are the subjects or there are some materials which are been showcased in front line. That is what the Bollywood is. And we go inside the mall or inside the shop, the inside material is far different than the showcase material. So inside material is what the Indian cinema is, and the showcase material is what the Bollywood cinema is. So Bollywood cinema, what I say is the Bollywood term is nothing but the a copied term from the Hollywood itself that we all know. Thankfully, Marathi cinema hasn't got any other name than Marathi cinema, not Marathi Wood or something like that. Or so thankfully it is not there, but it is
Part of Bollywood.
we are part. We are an integral part of Bollywood cinema because we made films in Mumbai. But I strongly oppose the term Bollywood because Bollywood is not a face of Indian cinema. While working with so many languages like Malayalam, Bengali, Konkani, I love all the languages. I thoroughly enjoyed working with Adur sir. I haven't familiar with Malayalam, but still I've worked in Malayalam films. I learned so many Malayalam phrases, so many Malayalam words. Chatta Chattam Koti and all that stuff. So now when I see any Malayalam films, I can recognize some words. I used to speak this word in film. So even I worked in Konkani. Konkani is such a beautiful language. If you went to Goa or the coastal part of Karnataka and Goa and Maharashtra, you can heard this beautiful language called Konkani. Konkani is such a beautiful language. मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है कि मुझे कोंकणी आती नहीं है, लेकिन still I worked in a Konkani film. Another beautiful language is Bangla. I worked in a Bengali film which is a remake, not a remake of a film, but again based on a Tagore's novel called Ghare Baire, and which is made in Hindi and a Bengali version recently. And it was released in Bengal last year. So the name is Ghare Baire. The novel name is Ghare Baire and the film name is Ardhangini Ek Ardha Satya. So I played the character which has been played by Victor Banerjee in an earlier Bengali version, directed by Satyajit Ray sir. I played his role in the film. So again, I was with the Bengali actors for a month, and I can understand some Bengali words after finishing the shooting. So again, मुझे ऐसा लगा कि why मैं बंगाल में क्यों नहीं जन्मा. तो इतनी अच्छी लैंग्वेज है, इतनी मीठी लैंग्वेज है, जैसे बंगाली स्वीट्स होता है, इतनी अच्छी बंगाली लैंग्वेज है, तो मुझे उसको सीखना चाहिए. तो नाउ आफ्टर वर्किंग इन सो मेनी लैंग्वेजेस इन इंडिया, नाउ आई एम थिंकिंग कि व्हाई इन स्कूल वी लर्न ओनली हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश. वी हैव टू लर्न बिसाइड्स हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश एनी रीजनल लैंग्वेज दैट वी वुड हैव टू लर्न, लाइक इवन इफ इट इज तमिल, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, these all languages are very beautiful. So I think the literature, the films, the theatre, the poetry, whatever belongs to these particular languages, they have their own strength. And rightly the subject says that only Bollywood is not the face of Indian cinema. I think like if we go to a hotel, they not only served a Punjabi food, they also have Chinese, they also have a South Indian dish. So Indian cinema is full of variety of so many dishes. Hindi is a small dish of it. There is Marathi, there is Bengali, there is Kannada, there is Telugu, Tamil, Assamese, Gujaratis. So variety of dishes are there. So why we are eating only Hindi or a Bollywood dish? And this is, I think, the correct terminology.
You have something to contribute?
When we were in school, I remember very distinctly that Sunday afternoons were celebrated because Doordarshan used to have this one slot where they would show movies of different languages from around the country. And that's my first exposure to sort of Indian cinema besides my own language. And at that time, that was the prevailing culture, that if you wanted, you could watch Indian cinema with English subtitles. And finally, when a lot of us got to a postgraduate level, I first graduated in mass communication, and it was interesting that everybody in that class was at some point a follower of those movies. So, that's how we met, Adur sir, we met Janu Barua sir, we met, Girish Kasarvalli sir. That's how we met. It was through that. But today, given the fact that there is as much as rest of Indian cinema, even in the face of Bollywood or what they like to call the Hindi film industry in Mumbai, unfortunately the visibility of that is far more limited. I mean, I don't even know if that slot on Doordarshan exists anymore. But luckily there are new ways. I think people are now discovering regional cinema with subtitles in the theatres itself, which is wonderful. But yes, definitely, like the economy decides.
There's a hum going.
Yes.
Anybody at the microphone? Take this.
Like many different industries, here too the economy is decided by where the money is, and because we are so heavily skewed in favor of Bollywood when it comes to financial investment, therefore the visibility, the distribution channels, everything is far more favorable for Bollywood cinema, and therefore the rest of Indian cinema suffers. I think it's high time that this is taken notice of and something is done, because all these movies are being made, but who's actually watching them at the end of the day? Is it still only the people who know that particular language? We have an actor here who's worked in 5 different languages, but is he able to actually watch all those movies sitting in his own locality? I think that's a big question. The day that we can all really watch those movies, when we have access to those movies, I think that day that would tip things in our favor. That's what I would say.
Yes, you very rightly mentioned Doordarshan and the screenings on the slot of, they called it regional films, which was a very wrong thing to do. They thought everything worthwhile showing on the television was all regional. And then they had, in fact, it was, we had to apply a lot of pressure to keep them showing, And then there was a second row of management in Doordarshan. They were very particular to throw them away. They did not want any such film to be shown. For them, cinema is Bollywood, nothing beyond that. So they want, there is reason, because if you put a Bollywood film, they will get ads. So here is an example of a public television, becoming crass commercial, because it depends on the policy of the government also. It is, we cannot blame the Doordarshan alone. From time to time they are told, that you have to be on your own, your grant is cut or your allocation will be reduced, etc. Recently, and then after a long time, for a long time they were not showing these films. And again, some of us talked to the CEO, Mr. He is now Mr. The just CEO who has retired now. He has, in fact, before his term he resigned. Jawahar Sarkar. So he was very much inclined to listen to us at least. And then then there was also another IAS officer who was the Director General, Murari Sharan. And luckily they were together at that time. He was the Director General and the CEO was Jawahar Sarkar. So we could convince them that these films should be shown. In a late night slot, at 10 o'clock it will start, or 11 o'clock it will start. If there is a very important program on television, then this will be pushed further. But all the same, it will be shown, every Sunday. And again, Doordarshan, of course, they have got government jobs. They saw to it, they did not collect even one advertisement to go along with that. So there was a small royalty fixed at 25 lakhs, because it's a national telecast. They were giving 5 lakhs, 7 lakhs like that earlier. Today, even 25 lakhs is nothing. So my calculation was that a very small budget, shoestring budget film, the cost of production is a crore. At least 1/4 of that should be given as royalty. Then they wanted, some films to be given more and the others less. I said, nothing, no, don't do that. This lot should not be called regional. I was very particular. I insisted that it should be called the best of Indian cinema. So the best of Indian cinema started showing without any advertisement, no proper announcement, nothing. They just started showing. And it seems it went on for a few months. And then at a time they should have revised things. It seems that I learned it much later, because suddenly it stopped showing. They found there was some ministry finance man or somebody. They came and they passed a comment. Why waste 1 crore every month on this screening of this film? In fact, with this question, it is over, finished. So they are all very happy. The Doordarshan is very pleased that these films are gone. Now there is no more best of Indian cinema on the television, on our public television, imagine. So this is the story. So there is no more visibility for these films at the national level. There is no possibility. The only possibility is probably some of the films may be picked up by some distributors to be shown on these multiplexes. Screening in multiplexes also, it's another issue, where only the rich can go and see it. Their fees is something like the ticket price is something like 400, 500 like that. How many people can afford it? So that's also another impediment in the screening of these films. We don't know. In fact, the situation is very bad. Even at home, where these films are being produced, even in that region, it is very difficult to have these films screened. Situation is that. So finally, we will have only one kind of cinema, which is, unfortunately, it may be the Bollywood. Because Bollywood casts its shadow all over India. It doesn't stay, the influence of Bollywood is over every regional filmmaking center and production. So maybe that is what is to come. So people should be happy, They should feel happy. So, you from Madras and you have been, please, have you heard about Bollywood? Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very thankful for being here with Dada Sahib Balhi Award winner, Mr. Adu Gopal Krishnan, who is true inspiration to many world movies lovers, including me. I love all his movies. My most favorite are Elipatayam, Madilgal Vidayan, Niral Kuttu. None of his movies have ever been shot outside the soil of Kerala, where the soul of his movies live. He has been very true his convictions and adore that a lot. Thank you for having me with you, sir. I apologize to everybody for reading this transcript. I do this because I am not good in English. I had to have my Tamil speech translated by my English friend. When I search Google for top 100 films in Indian cinema, BBC provides a list where there is not a single regional movie other than Bollywood movies. IMDb serves a list which has movies which are from worthy of having mention. Time magazine's top 100 has Maniratnam's Nayagan and Gurudutt movie. Besides, from being filmmakers, we should register our claim of good cinema for benefit of future generation. This is my one point. So another one, I think Adur sir and Anjali Menon spoke same thing. I follow it. Bollywood is not the Indian cinema, is the title, right? It's true. Bollywood is hugely influenced by Hollywood. It has lost its ethnic values in its hunger to compete the global commercial race. It has become a face off in the crowd. It does not have the dead face of that person living there. I can't use the tag the Indian cinema for the very same reason. Bollywood is more or less a shadow of Hollywood, trying to become its mirror image, just with different languages. Having said that, it can't be denied that every Malayalam, Tamil and Kannadam or Telugu also behind Bollywood. Hollywood is hungry to release its movies in every screen across the globe. It's due to the hunger. Hollywood produces movies with less or no cultural values, which are dubbed and released in each and every country and screen they can find. How many prints are out in their big costume? How many millions of dollars a movie collects in its first week? It's their topmost objective. Okay, there is nothing wrong in it. There is how many motivated, hungry business should operate. There is nothing wrong in it, but art has pushed to the last bench and business has occupied all front rows. This I see a disaster of art, and we are in real bad times. Thank you.
Now, please don't equate Hollywood and Bollywood, because Hollywood is very inventive. And last year, the year before or last or so, I saw one Hollywood film, and I was deeply impressed by that, called Gravity. You know, we can never imagine such a film will come from regular Hollywood, you know. So there are these bright spots, you know, but you don't see anything from the Bollywood, and it is bereft of any real inquiry or innovation in it. Probably they spend all the money on the stars, you know. I don't know, on the exterior things, you know. You don't see it in the film. You know, so much is wasted. And in the South, the best example of Bollywood, you know, having influenced the South is the film called, what was it name? Bahubali. My God, that was given a national award. You know, see, where are we going? I don't know. And this is what is happening. We are talking about quality, we are talking about this and that, literature. You know, actually, you know, cinema combines in itself all the best of culture. You know, it is not simple technology. You know, technology means it is even as a technological innovation. It is not even that. You know, but then using technology and then making blockbuster. That was not even the idea of instituting national awards. National awards were instituted to promote a high level of quality for the Indian films. Made whether in Bombay or Calcutta or Madras, you know, only the quality should count. Whether it is socially relevant, whether it is aesthetically good, and then so many other parameters are there. It is not when Bahubali gets the national award for the best film, that says something very, very devastating. and this is really the Bollywood acting nation wise, and it is influencing the decision makers in Delhi. It gives a very bad message. Mr. Nambiar, you have your way.
Considering I'm the only guy kind of representing Bollywood here, so I'm like on the back foot here. But I definitely agree with all the people on this panel here. Bollywood is definitely not. I think the title says it all. Bollywood is definitely not Indian cinema. But like Anjali clearly mentioned, it's also because we are so used to sampling only Hindi films per se, because they have the maximum number of screen counts, they have the maximum reach per se in every area. And when I say area, I'm not just talking about the screens, I'm talking about even the other platforms. We only, be it media, be it digital platforms, we only, Bollywood is kind of in your face all the time. The visibility of regional cinema on films from other quarters is drastically missing. And like I'll give you an example. I'm a huge fan of Vasant Balan. I saw Whale on a pirated CD because the Whale was not available in Bombay. I only kept hearing about the movie and I desperately wanted to see it. There was no way to access it, and the only way to access it was through a pirated CD. But years later, I saw Angadi Thiru on a PVR screen with subtitles. So, and I was very happy to see that, and I could take my friends also for it, because there were subtitles available, and they could also experience a movie set in a world which was so disconnected from who they were, and it was something brand new for them. But now those are very far and few in between. We do have films from other languages releasing now in metros, and of course with the advent of digital platforms, now we have regional films coming on digital platform with subtitles available. So there is accessibility is getting better. But yeah, this term of kind of the reach of Bollywood, I don't think we can ever we can't outnumber that. I think the best way is to just battle it out and just fight for that visibility, and not wait for Karan Johar can come and push a Bahubali. But if the same Karan Johar and same the biggies over here start supporting films from other quarters and actually get them to reach out, I think that will be the way forward for more and more audiences getting to sample films from different quarters. So that's what I personally feel. I like I said, and like Anjali said, it also depends on the economics. And now I was sitting with someone who's starting this chain of mini-plexes in all these BC centers, and their idea is to break the whole clutter system of PVRs and other. I'm not talking against PVR here, but where the ticket prices are like 500, 600 rupees, right? So they're trying to come up with a whole mini-plex concept of having 89 rupees, 99 rupees flat rate tickets throughout the country. And one of their ideas is to release regional films with subtitles, because they see there is and this is based on a study. They were showing me the reports on the study that regional films in metros especially with subtitles have a huge reach. There are audiences actually who are not belonging, like a Tamil film is being viewed by Maharashtrians, it's being viewed by Gujaratis. So I think that's a great thing, and people want to sample that. So until we don't give them that, it won't happen. So we can keep saying this, Bollywood is this and Bollywood that, but I think the only way forward is for filmmakers to fight, not just make the film, but make sure to fight for that space, to make sure to fight for that access, and that's just not on the screens, but on any platforms available. I only see that as a way forward. One more thing I would like to just say is, Adur sir just spoke about Bollywood being, it has a certain kind of image attached to it, but there are filmmakers here too. I'm not counting me. There are filmmakers here, and there are interesting, inventive films being made here as well. But yeah, just like how I'm sure you're also fighting to get more screens for your films. There are many filmmakers here who have won international acclaim who are still struggling to get their films out. And I personally know so many filmmakers, and it's only because of not finding the right economic partner to partner with you to at least get them to reach out. Like, I can give one or two examples. There was this really good film called Aankho Dekhi. Beautiful film made by Rajat Kapoor, and it was one of the first films produced by I forget his Mantra, Manish Mandra's company. And the film, the film released one great critical acclaim, and it was going houseful. It was going houseful for the first week. It was the screens. It was going houseful. It was relegated to a morning show the second week, even though it had a full house going from every day going. But it was relegated to a morning show only because he didn't have the clout to fight for more screens, and he didn't have a big backer backing it. And it's because the monopolies of all these corporate houses and producers who had this stronghold on a good film like that, which could have ran for more weeks, which could have found a more audience, couldn't find that space. And that, I'm just giving a case study as an example. I can talk about my film. My first film ran for 13 weeks, and I was happy only because a studio that backed it had the faith, and they held on to it. But I was lucky, and not many filmmakers are lucky over here. So just to bring back to my point. So, sir, ഇവിടെയും കുറച്ച് നല്ല filmmakers ഉണ്ട്. So please don't give up on us. And I guess that's all. And thank you so much, by the way. Thank you so much for having me over here. I feel like a complete misfit over here. I'm in such august company. But I guess someone had to take the big bat for the Bollywood thing. So that's why I was called.
Thank you, Bijay, for compliments. In recent years, all Tamil films are subtitled and released. Another thing, all regional language, 100 Bahubalis on under productions.
I could not see your film yet. I'm very eager to see your film, Whale, Yes. Yeah, yes. You must give me a cassette or something.
Yeah. Original DVD.
Original DVD, not a copy. Not a copy. You have the original or duplicate? Duplicate. That is the sign of popularity. When the film is very popular, you get duplicate copies. But that's a good sign, and more people are seeing it. In fact, somebody put my films on without any authorization, without even my knowledge, on the YouTube. And recently, again, another interesting entrepreneur, he wanted to put all these films on a platform and have them together. So people have been asking about wanting to see these films for the university circuits and all that. So he made a search and found out 5 lakhs people have seen my films without any knowledge, without my knowledge. And then the man who put it on the YouTube, it seems, even if he was given by the YouTube, they pay something. Once we have 10,000 viewers, yeah. Then immediately the man who puts it on the thing, he gets money. I don't know how much money he gets. Even if he got just 10 rupees, it would be 50 lakhs. It works out to 50 lakhs. That because of my lack of knowledge about this new technology, somebody made good money out of it. My films don't collect that much in the regular cinemas. So this is what happens. The clandestine thing, the surreptive kind of things, they work, not direct business. That is the curse of cinema, in fact. The worst kind of films get the best release. Yeah. The best films never get released. So this is the curse of the cinema. And I'm happy his film in Tamil, it's a very good trend if it has started, because in Tamil Nadu is one place where you find many young filmmakers coming and making films. And we don't get to see them because They don't come to the regular cinemas in Kerala. You know, they will play only those big star cast, only star cast. Vijay's films, they start screening from early morning, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and the previous night itself, people line up. You know, they are mad about it. Films like Tupaki. Of course, when I hear the title, Tupaki means the rifle.
When he made Katti.
Then he met Katti. Very, very dangerous, you know. But then the very titles attract these people. There is a lot of negativity amongst the young people. That's why Tupaki immediately means, you know, they know there will be a lot of dushum. So they wait for that. and listening to songs, you know, what kind of picturization of song will be there, you know, how much of dress will be on the actress and all that. They will know. They will judge it, and they will go to see it. So this is the kind of cinema that is making the circulation. So when I think I made it very clear. I don't mean, you know, I don't think every film made in Bombay can be included under Bollywood.
But sadly, that's how it is. We are all
Yes. No, this is a very wrong way of looking at it. Fortunately, you know, this is the Hindi is one language where Saidi Mirza, Manikaul, and others made films in Hindi. So people have been asking me, you know, when you come to the north, they ask, why don't you make films in Hindi? And then I have to explain to them, look, it's not the language. It is the kind of films that Hindi films are associated with. That is what they want. You know, not Satyajit Ray made a film, Shatranj Ke Khiladi, and it was such a miserable flop at the box office. It's one of his best films, and he never did it again. You know, these are the past experiences. So Bollywood is very negative in other than being quite unwelcome. It is very negative in its appeal and even feel. That's a dangerous thing. See, I personally am not against commercial cinema, because commercial cinema is what sustains cinema audiences, cinema houses, and all that. You cannot have all offbeat films. You know, offbeat films necessarily creates a certain friction with the audiences. Generally, the popular audience goes to see a film which they are already familiar with. You know, they will be feeling very cozy when they are seeing the right things they are familiar with. They can adjust to that. They can see themselves in that. They can enjoy. But an offbeat film invariably asks questions, disturbs the status quo. You know, these are the basic characteristics of the offbeat. So it is very, very important that the cinema going public need to be going to see these films. It sustains an industry, and all the technological development, everything, and the industry can sustain it because that kind of popular cinema supports this work. But then the problem is when there is no space for another kind of cinema. This is the problem. Now, if you occupy the entire space and you edge everything out, you know, then that is a dangerous trend. So
I think Tamil industry, for some strange reason, found a certain balance, is what I feel, because there constantly I feel that both kind of more or less kind of coexist. You have the main big Vijay commercial potboilers, but there are some very interesting independent films made with complete rank newcomers, which is finding an audience, which is finding, and you know, somewhere that coexistence is kind of finding a balance, is what I feel. At least in Tamil, it's happening. It used to happen for some time.
Unfortunately, some of the very popular Tamil films which have been produced, you know, by the Madurai group, you know, Madurai. They call it Madurai. Your Madurai. I am near Madurai. Yes, you know, they see they don't have big stars, but then they compensate it with impossible violence. That is their commercial formula. Impossible, and I cannot stand about 10-15 minutes of that. Then with great difficulty I saw the whole film. One of the I wouldn't name it title. I wouldn't tell you the title. It's not fair. So, but it was impossible, and then I started worrying about The Tamil Nadu, basically I love Tamil Nadu and its people because they are wonderful people. And if the children, women, they all go to see this film and it becomes popular, I was really worried about it. It was hugely popular, this film. And not only this, there was a couple of them. And I was told it is from the Madurai group.
I think that film kind of became a trendsetter, and more films of that sort.
And it begot more violence. This is I thought it was a very dangerous thing. The stars are much less harmful. I don't mind having stars, because they bring in a certain experience of professionalism and all that. I use stars. Here is one of my stars, and it's a pleasure working with them. But I am not against stars. I am against the kind of films that are being made with them. They are being used for that kind of cinema which are really unworthy of watching. That's the problem.
Marathi, actually, Subodh can talk about Marathi films. In the last 5-6 years, I've seen this massive surge, and a lot of big films working, and we even the last big one being your own film, which was so massive. And again, this is my take on it. I feel the films that really work over there it's just an extension of the stage theater plays, like really good plays that we used to watch. And even I think your film was also based on a play.
Yeah, honestly.
So the play audience is now just shifted and started watching. So it's very content driven films rather than the masala that is working in at least in Marathi cinema.
It was always a content driven industry, Marathi, right from the days of Prabhat and V. Shantaram Babu. It was a bad period for Marathi film industry from say 1990 to till the Shwas won the National Award. After Shwas, there are so many new filmmakers, new writers, new directors. They came up with so many different ideas. And the recent example of the success of the Marathi content-driven industry is very renowned director Govindji Nilani. He was struggling to make his Hindi film for last 10 years. And nobody was ready to produce his kind of film in Hindi. So finally, he ended up doing a Marathi film. But still, he believes that my idea can be put in a Marathi film industry. Even recently, John Ibrahim is going to produce his first Marathi film. Even Priyanka Chopra enters into a Marathi film industry because they can experiment with the concept. They can experiment with the things. They can experiment with the subjects. And Marathi audience, like the theater is in his roots. So he is ready to accept anything that is content driven. So it automatically reflects into the film. My film was completely based on a musical play, which was a very renowned musical play, Katyar Kazat Ghosli. But it is not the shooting of the play into a cinema hall. It was entirely a different take on a film, different take on a subject. But yes, there are different types of films like Nata Samrat, which is again based on the play. But there are different kinds of like Tamhane's film Court won the national award.
Court was fantastic.
Last year. Even there is Umesh Kulkarni who's making some different kind of cinema. So there are new directors and new writers who came up with so many great ideas in Marathi. The only thing which Marathi industry faces is the competition of so many films in his body. Like in Mumbai, when the Marathi film released, it has a huge competition from so-called Bollywood cinema, not from the Hindi cinema. Hindi cinema, what you represents. Bollywood cinema, you don't represent. So there's a huge competition from Bollywood cinema, huge competition from English cinema, huge competition from other cinemas like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati, and Assamese also. And after that, it is getting the right slot for the release, right theater for the release. So again, it is a hard competition for every language. But what I think is, like Vasanta Balan or you or anybody from the regional cinema, my take is whenever you make your kind of cinema in your language. Like if Vasant Balan is making a Malayalam or Tamil cinema in his own language, I think he should also try to make that particular film into Marathi also. Or I might take, if I make a film in Marathi, I have to make that film into Bengali also. It's not a bilingual film, but with the same actors, why can't I make a film with with the same budget? So my actor can talk in Bengali, his actor can talk in Marathi and Tamil. So it's a great mixture of the languages. Even people would love to watch this kind of film.
You know, there's the massive success of this channel, TV channel right now, where they have just been dubbing Telugu and Tamil films and putting it out in Hindi with all kinds of weird titles. And suddenly all these actors from Telugu and Tamil are finally finding an audience up north and who don't even know of them. But now, because of so many movies, there's like I think a dedicated channel just for that now. So,
because I made a film, Katyar, which is half Marathi and half Urdu. So that's why it goes to a non-Marathi speaking audience also. Even the UP and MP and even in the South. So because it's a mixed language film. So if I can try something like that, like a Tamil Kannada or Kannada Telugu or Bengali Gujarati or something like that, it's a great mixture.
We are talking about Marathi cinema. One real fact should not be left unsaid. That is the great support Maharashtra government is giving to Marathi cinema, and they have even fixed a certain percentage of screening time in all the cinemas. It's compulsory for them to show these Marathi films, and the kind of huge subsidy, very substantial subsidy being given to them, and the very very progressive measures the government of Maharashtra has adopted, and the result is that today in Marathi cinema you find the best of Indian cinema being produced, and it is making waves not only in India. It is not only making waves in India, in festivals abroad also, very important festivals. These films are being screened. It's very important. This is an eye-opener for the rest of the country. And it is possible. In fact, back home, and if you talk about Kerala, it is very suicidal if you try to make a film which doesn't make compromise. It's very suicidal. And in spite of that, people are trying to make films. You know, this is very interesting. That's their suicidal tendency, inborn. Inborn.
Kerala does have the maximum suicides.
You can't help it. They will do that. Whatever be the impediments. That's very nice feeling that it gives. You know, in fact, at least one or two films, which don't make compromise, which which they don't expect any big success, and real shoestring budget. They don't lose hugely on the films, and some of the films are financed by themselves, because no regular traditional finance will come for those films. So they are financing it themselves, making the films, getting sunk in debts. Some of them even sell off their land and make a film. This is real suicidal.
Maybe
Yes.
I can add something to that. I never thought I would say this here today, but actually when I was walking in here, I was a little scared of meeting Adur sir today, because the last time I met him was at Goa during IFFI when my first film Manjarikuru was screened, and sir watched the film and gave me detailed feedback, and I had actually asked him for advice because at that point I had written a film called Ustad Hotel, which had done well commercially, and I was a little confused as to what should be my next film, because should I go the more art house way like my first film, or go a slightly more commercial way like Ustad Hotel? And sir was very clear. He said, don't sell out to them. Follow your soul, even if it's difficult. Hang on, make more films like Manjarikuru. And unfortunately, I could not follow that advice. I am one of those filmmakers who, made that first film with government support with the NFDC, And given the crazy level of politics in there, I had to actually buy my own film back from the government. And then I had this film sitting with me, not being able to release it because it took so long to get the red tape out of the way. And finally, we managed to release it in 2012. When again, I still remember calling up Ororo Matunga to get a screen for screening it, and my rival there was James Bond speaking 4 Indian languages. Not easy to compete. And through this, you do not have the government support, you don't have any support. So at the end of the day, to make that money back was the reason I actually made my next film. It was as simple as that, which was definitely within the commercial realm. And yes, it is lovely to see people queuing up to buy tickets. That's a different world altogether. But this is what we come down to at the end of the day. It is fantastic to see Marathi, getting this whole revival because of A, the kind of government support they have, B, the distribution circuit that has been put in place. See, the very loyal audiences who will go back to the theatres to watch these movies. Today we have a very empowered audience who can actually tweet about it, who can write on Facebook about it, who can tell people that please go watch this movie, it's great, it's got subtitles, go watch it. But those loyal audiences are a very important component of such movies making it. When we stand and beg these theatre owners to screen our films, and at the end of the day when no one turns up, I've been there. It doesn't feel great. You're really not motivated to make yet another film, of that genre at least. It's extremely painful. But when you have audiences who are interested to watch your kind of movie, exactly the same thing, sir. I struggle to screen that film, but some bloke just puts up a DVD copy on YouTube and he's getting lakhs and lakhs of hits for my film. Which is, it's just insane, which means there are people watching it. So where is this disconnect? I mean, there are the filmmakers who want to make these movies. There is the audience who wants to watch it. So if there's a system that's standing in our way, I think it's high time we kind of go around that system. I saw Uncle Nikki on Netflix, and I loved it. I didn't watch it in a theatre, but I was happy that I had a legal way to now watch that movie. I think that is, big empowerment for a lot of us. So we don't need that 25 lakhs from Doordarshan. That's not our only route anymore. So that's great. But I do really think that, 5 people on a stage talking about this, but much more important would be the people in the audience, how they treat their own cinema. It's so wonderful to see people talk about regional language literature here. How much passion is there? Where is the passion for regional cinema? Where are people talking about that? Why is everybody still relying on YouTube to watch regional cinema? I mean, how long will we celebrate filmmakers who are no more with us? There are filmmakers alive today making cinema every day. Isn't it time to celebrate them and their cinema? If it's worth it, of course. Definitely. But to find that alive audience is, I think, at the end of the day, what all of us as filmmakers want. So I think a big part of this responsibility is on the audience as well. And as an audience member, I, would try to strive towards that. I think all of us would love to have an audience that's engaging in that way. That's what I'd like to say.
You mentioned NFDC. NFDC is long dead, and long
Rest
live
in peace.
NFDC. They say NFDC is dead, long live NFDC. Because I was one of those guilty of having recommended the formation of the NFDC. It was, its primary function, as we had envisaged, was to have small theatres to start with in big cities, and then to the next big cities, and like that over a period of 10 years' time, to have at least 100 cinemas all over the country. And any well-made film will find that small niche audience in every city, and it will recover the cost. This was the idea. NFDC did not even construct or help construct even one cinema. So the first thing that they discarded was that idea, and they developed a 5-star culture. People who did not have anything to do with cinema, we had no commitment to what the corporation was meant for. They came in charge of it. Even while we were directors on the NFDC's board, we could not get it executed, any of the decisions, because the chief executive they wanted to just cut everything, whatever decisions were made by the board, it functioned like that. So that was the end of the NFDC, and then it never meant anything in our lives, in the lives of the filmmakers in the country. Finally, it went into a dormant stage. Now I think it is dead also. Unless it is nobody has pronounced dead, I think. Yes, it is still there. It's not this. I should not use this forum for personal experiences. The film like because we were talking very strongly against the way it was being conducted. My film Rat Trap, that later it was I thought the NFDC handled the distribution of the film. What was done was just it was kept under the wraps for 7 years. That was the contract. After 7 years, it was released from their thing, and then it was distributed all over the world.
This is Elipatayam, I think one of Sir's most acclaimed films.
Yes, it was released all over the world. It brought so much money to the producer, and these people kept it under wraps for 7 years, because we are not saying very nice things to the chief executive at the meetings. So this was the punishment I got. So that's the way these institutions which have been formed with a very specific purpose, that's how they function. Doordarshan is another institution. They have all failed, not only failed, but then they have a glee on, you can see the glee on their face for having failed us. This is the attitude. And look at the national awards. The people who have nothing to do with cinema, they are put as chairman of the jury. This last year's selections for Indian Panorama. Indian Panorama is meant to select films for outside film festivals to come, and selectors to come and watch them and choose from them. And then all commercial films. Somebody who has never seen in his life or seen or appreciated any good film in his life, he was appointed as the chairman of the jury. And he makes his own selections. And nobody questions it. Nobody asks why. There is no way. See, government, this is the case where the government who could really be supportive, they have become destructive in their attitude, because they take it so casually, these things. Anybody who can be a chairman of this selection jury for international festival selection, can you imagine? And the harm it does. People like Derek Malcolm and other important critics come there and ask for certain films, and they say it is not selected. Whereas these films are already shown in big international film festivals, and these people don't select it. This is the way it becomes a very negative kind of force. In fact, it's such a big responsibility on their part to choose the very best of cinema, because no other promotional measure is being meted out to these films by the government or any agency. This is the only small thing, like small favor is to choose the right ones. It's a small favor, nothing very great. You choose the right films for a right cause. There also you bungle it, and we cannot question it, because a decision made is a decision made. This is what is happening.
Biju told in Tamil cinema have some balance level, but last 10 years we have very suffer in piracy. So main films, they have no problem at all, and alternative films and art related films have really a problem, because we have no satellite rights, so no TV bought or satellite rights. There is a big problem in Tamil industry. Last 7 years, government also no support in film industry, Tamil film industry. Last 7 years, no awards from state. No state award not functioned. I think Marathi state support their cinema is really nice. Fanry is one of the wonderful film in Indian representative. It is one of the Dalit issue is taken very extraordinary way. I really appreciate. I think in Kerala also we don't get a pirated copy, Premam and any like films at least in 100 days. So I think Tamil cinema really suffer in the piracy. So big films is not a problem. Really making a good films, it's really making very difficult because my Angadi Tharu is waiting to release on 4 years. I think I'm really happy. SAR film, Helipatha, I'm really waiting for 7 years. So I'm better than. So it's really making a big problem in Tamil industry. We suffered very lot because immediately night piracy will come. So really big problem in Tamil industry.
Actually, we have overshot the time allotted to us. So thank you very much. We may go on lamenting over our situation for the rest of the night. Still it won't be over, but then let us put an end to this thing for the time being. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.